Welcome to the Visualize Meditations podcast, hosted by your friend Sasha Patil, a Chopra certified meditation teacher. The first step to creating the life of your dreams is to create a clear and compelling vision for what you want for the future. I'll be guiding you on visualization meditation so you can get clear on your deepest desires. Let's get started so you can turn your vision into a reality.
Hi, hello, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Visualize Meditations podcast. It's your gal pal Sasha, and to paint the scene for you right now, I'm currently outside of Athens, Georgia, staying with my family. I've been here for a week. I leave tomorrow, and it's been really nice to be here with my family. And honestly, I've just kind of been working. I've been working like a dog. I've been working and just doing my best to get everything wrapped up before this next chapter and this next phase, which I'm really, really excited for. But to be so completely honest with you guys, I'm feeling so burned out. And that's what we're here to chat about today. How to battle the freaking burnout. So let's chat about it. What is burnout? And I think it's such a piece of today's culture, especially in like hustle culture. We can hustle, grind. And then we feel burnt out. And then, your body forces you to stop and to take a break and to recover and recuperate. But how can we stop it before we get to that point? So let's chat about burnout, okay? What leads to burnout? And I'm going to chat from my own experience about what I've encountered this time around with burnout. I have only experienced burnout, I'd say, in my adult life since graduating college. I've only experienced burnout 3 times. And all times have just kind of been related to when I'm adding way too many things to my plate and not doing enough things to remove energy drains and to fill up my own cup in order to balance out what I'm doing. And I'm just pushing myself so hard without taking any breaks or without any time to rest, recover, recuperate, and to fill my own cup up. So in this stage of life right now, the thing that's leading me to burnout is I just spent a year traveling, and I wrapped up my travels, and toward the end of my travels, I started to feel burnt out, and I just kept pushing it because I was like, okay, I'm only traveling for a year. There's a deadline on this. I have to be present in the moment so I can experience the things I'm experiencing, so I can experience these beautiful places I'm in and these cultures. So I just kept pushing the burnout. And then as soon as I got back to the States, it all just piled on all at once, and it got progressively worse. When I landed back in the States, I was, kind of feeling in the groove, ready to go, closing out chapters of relationships and the travel and all of that. And I closed out all of these chapters, and then I went to Tony Robbins. And when I came back from Tony Robbins, I came back to an absolute shitstorm at work. The holiday season is always really challenging with my job and with my work, but I've never had challenges this intense before and this volume of challenges before. So I've been having help and been having support, but it's been actually at this point a straight month of me dealing with these challenges. And I've just been working really, really hard. Been working really, really hard for my 9-to-5 job, and I came off of a year of travel from my Asia leg, and I took 0 downtime. Like, I cannot tell you the last time I took a proper day off. I cannot tell you the last time I took like a real proper afternoon off that I wasn't doing admin or wasn't working on the podcast or wasn't working or wasn't doing something or whatever. Like, I can't tell you the last time I took a full day off to just fill up my own cup and to do the things that energize me and revitalize me. I went from one thing to the next. I came back from my Asia leg. I went crazy in the admin and went crazy with work, went to Tony Robbins. That was really pushing myself. And literally the day I finished from Tony Robbins and got back to work, it just became a shitstorm and was just working insane hours. Okay, that's a lie. I did take 2 days off. I took 1 day off for Christmas Day, and I took 1 day off for New Year's Day. And New Year's Day, I ended up having a kind of impromptu brainstorming podcast session with my best friend. So it didn't end up being like completely a day off, but it felt really inspiring and revitalizing. So in about a month, I've only taken 2 days off. And, even before that, when I was, out and about traveling around Asia, every day had something in it. There might have been like 1 or 2 days where I didn't do anything or any type of work. But even then you're out and exploring Asia and you're seeing all the sights, and as incredible as that is, it can be very, very tiring. So for me, it just became piling on all of these things all on top of each other without taking any proper rest or breaks, and just going, and doing without any stopping, and just being or doing anything to fill up my cup. So have been feeling pretty burnt out for about a month now. And to be honest with you, my mental health has really suffered. I have not been feeling great. My health suffered for a little bit. It kind of bled into a lot of different areas of my life. If you were to talk to me a week ago, I would have said that pretty much every area of my life was not feeling good, with the exception of my friendships. And that's shifted a little bit now as I've taken some more time and energy to prioritize filling up my own cup. But if you were to talk to me a week ago, I would have been like, nothing is feeling good except for my friendships right now. And now things are kind of coming on the other side. I see a light at the end of the tunnel. But that's not to say that burnout is very real and very challenging. So that's what kind of leads to burnout, is piling on top all of these things without taking any sort of rest, recovery, recuperation, any time to just give yourself space to just be. You just keep going without any being. And that's what we want to battle. That's what we want to take on, and we need to stop the burnout. So when you're in it, it feels kind of impossible to get out of it, because it's like, well, I can't stop because all of these things are on my list, and I can't stop because I have to do all of these things. And that might be true. It might be possible that you can't take the time and can't take the break, or you can't take a day off to do the thing because maybe you actually have to do the things that you're doing. Maybe you actually need to do the activities and the to-dos on your list to actually make sure that you're living your life and supporting yourself. So for me, like, I have to make sure that things at my work are taken care of. It is my top priority to make sure that my work is taken care of. I love my team. I love the company I work for. This company has given me everything. My paycheck supports my whole life, and I love the team I work for. I love the company I work for, so I have to do it. And it's not something I can just shake off and go away. I have asked for help. When you're in it, it feels so difficult to get out of it. It feels like it's impossible. Let's say you're in the middle of it. Let's say you're in the thick of burnout right now. How do you get out of it? Maybe you can't take a day off, but maybe you can take an afternoon off. Maybe you can take an hour off. Like, how can you take care of yourself in the times of burnout so that you're not completely burning yourself to a crisp? For me, it's looked like making sure I'm getting outside for a walk every day, just getting some fresh air, at least an hour, just go out and take a walk, get some movement in. If that means talking to a loved one on the phone during my walk, or if that's just listening to music or a podcast, or just even being with my own thoughts, taking care of myself. And it could look like a bunch of different things. Whatever fills up your cup, do that thing, even if it's for 1 hour every day. Just do whatever you can to take care of yourself in the moment, because when you're in the thick of it, it's impossible. The other thing I will say to get out of it is to schedule real downtime and real rest and real recovery. So for me, I have a surgery coming up. This week. In less than a week, I am getting a rhinoplasty, and I've scheduled in a break. At first, I was really dreading the recovery process, but now I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. I have 5 days of absolute nothing scheduled. I can't tell you the last time I scheduled 5 days of nothingness. Last time I took 5 days off, I went to a Tony Robbins event. The time before that, I was at freaking Burning Man, okay? Like, I don't take time off to do nothing and to rot. I've taken 5 days off to just rot, to just be, to do nothing. And I'm really looking forward to it. So I've scheduled a break, and I know that I'm going to be moving locations tomorrow, and I'm going to be in that location for like at least 2 months. And I've kind of have built out the schedule. I know what my days are going to look like, and I'm building my schedule in order to incorporate rest and recovery and joy and fun and filling my own cup up every single day. So I'm now building a schedule where I'm incorporating these things into my life so that I don't get to a point where I'm running myself into the ground and then having to stop. I'm going to have it every day so that it's more sustainable for me to live my life. So if you're in the thick of it right now, do whatever you can to prioritize, what you can right now to take care of yourself. But then at the same time, schedule something in the near future to actually rest. So that can be a day off, an afternoon off, a week off if you can, schedule in real rest recovery time. The other thing I will say that another great way to get out of it is I was talking to my life coach, which I did a couple of sessions of life coaching recently. And she said, okay, take a piece of paper and draw a line down the middle. And on one side, write down everything that depletes your energy. People, practices, activities, locations, like everything that drains your energy. And on the other side of the page, write down everything that brings you energy and raises your vibration. And look at these two things, and you're very, very clear on what you need to release and what you need to minimize. And maybe you can't like let go of these things completely, right? Maybe they're just there and you're like, okay, well, I have to still do these things, or I still have to talk to these people. But how can I set boundaries? How can I reduce it? How can I create limitations? Or how can I let go of them altogether? And then on the other side, understanding what brings you energy and what inspires you and lights you up and revitalizes you. How can you bring more of that into your life as well? So getting really clear and put it on paper, the things that are draining you versus the things that are raising you up. And that way it's going to be really, really clear, like what you need to minimize, what you need to let go of, and what you need to reduce in order to stop. So it's another great way in order to battle burnout. I got an interesting question from my cousin last night, and I've actually never heard this question before posed to me. I've gotten the question a lot of times, like, oh, well, how do you do it? How do you manage the 9 to 5 job, the business, and the travel full time, and your relationships and your health and all of that, right? The logistical question of how do you do it? I think it's easy for me. I think it's easy for me to answer that one because I'm used to answering it. The answer is I cut out TV and social media completely, and I'm pretty good at time management. And I just know that when I'm doing certain things, I'm doing certain things. Like I have my time for my 9 to 5, I have my time for my podcast, I have my time for my travels and being present in them and doing my admin and stuff like that. And then cutting out TV and social media, look at your screen time. Look at how much time you waste in a day scrolling. Like you can build a freaking business. Like it doesn't take more than a couple hours to like start building something, and just being a creator rather than a consumer, just taking that time you're consuming and instead creating something. Logically, yes, that's how I've done it for the entire year. And I've also like learned how to delegate to AI. I've learned how to delegate to a team member. It's like, how can I delegate? How can I take things off my plate? How can I do the things that are super important to me? But my cousin asked me a question last night that I've actually never heard before. And it got me really thinking about what I'm doing right now. And the question he asked me was, how do you stay motivated to work on the podcast when you have so many other things going on? He's like, for me, I would have been really, really burnt out and I wouldn't have been able to do it. And especially if you're not seeing the monetary results, or if you're not seeing the numbers results that you want to do, and you've been working on it for 2.5 years at this point, like how do you stay motivated to continue on? And for me, it really stumped me for a second. And I've been sitting on it and thinking on it. And I think there are a couple different reasons how I've been able to stay motivated through this time. Is number one, I know my why. I know why this is important to me. And that really, really, really fuels me. So there are a couple different reasons this podcast is so important to me. And I'd say if you're picturing this for your own life, like what is your why? Like what is your reason that you're doing the thing you're doing? And get clear on it. Like for me, when I get messages from you guys and you guys tell me that you love the podcast and you're loving the meditations and you're loving the solo sessions, and you give me feedback or you tell me that I'm impacting your life in some sort of way, it fuels me endlessly. It's like this magic fuel you're putting in my gas tank where it just like allows me to just go, 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 go forever, because knowing that I'm helping you guys, it's the biggest reason I do what I do, is to create value for you guys. I started this podcast because I was looking for something and couldn't find it. So I decided to create it myself because I figured if I was looking for it, someone else was looking for it too. So that's why I decided to create this podcast. That's the number one reason, is because I know I'm helping people. I know I'm making people's lives better. And I know that I'm helping people turn their vision for what they want in their life into a reality by getting clear on what they actually want. So that's the first thing, is I know I'm helping people. Number two is it's not about the outcome. It's about who you become in the process of going towards the outcome and working towards the outcome. So it's not necessarily about hitting a certain number of listeners or followers or getting paid a certain amount for this thing. It's about, I really enjoy who I become in the process of working on these things. I feel so much pride in myself for working on this for 2.5 years consistently. And I feel really proud of the consistency I've shown myself. I feel really proud of knowing that I set out to do something and that I made it happen, and I made promises to myself and I kept them. And I like how it makes me feel good about myself. And I like how much I'm learning about myself in this process. And I like how much I feel like I'm growing. And I love watching the podcast grow. And it's about growth. Like, I know working on this thing promotes and fuels my growth so much that it just endlessly fuels me as well. So it's not necessarily about, the outcome, but it's about, I love the process of getting better and growing. And I love watching business grow. I love watching myself personally grow through the process of working on the business. And it just feels really good. And the analogy I gave my cousin last night was, I said, it's like going to the gym, like you can go to the gym and like, you're not going to get abs after 10 sessions. Like, it's not about going to the gym 10 times and getting abs. It's about working at it with complete faith and with trust and working at it consistently, knowing that the abs will come eventually, but it's not about getting the abs. It's about who you are in the process of going to the gym every day. It's about who you become in the process of working on yourself every day. And the commitment and the determination and the grit and the patience that comes with working on something consistently. Good things come from hard work. Like, everything good worth having comes with work and comes with effort, consistency, patience, determination, love, energy. Good things are worth having because you work at them and because you give yourself to them completely and consistently. This is one of my favorite Tony Robbins quotes. You are praised in public for what you do in private. And yes, what I'm doing here isn't necessarily private because I'm sharing everything online, but it is private in the sense that not a ton of people are looking at it. Like, sure, like thousands, but we're not talking like millions of people are looking at this thing. It's not like I'm blowing up. It's not like people are stopping me on the street saying that they love my podcast. Like, that's not happening right now in this moment. Like, in the future, maybe, but right now, no, it's like somewhat private because it's not like the entire world watching what I'm doing. But I'm practicing this consistently, and I like who I'm becoming in the process of working on the thing. So that, and the third is I have goals and I have North Stars with this platform and with this podcast of where I want to take it, and they keep me going. Like, I have goals personally for this. I have goals for you guys with this, with how I want to reach you and create as much value as possible for you guys. I have goals in general around the podcast, and these North Stars keep me going and keep me focused and keep me motivated and inspired to keep persevering and pushing through. How it would relate to you and with burnout as well is, what keeps you motivated to do the things you're doing? Yeah, maybe you're feeling burnt out in a certain area of life, but maybe it's about getting clear about why you're doing the thing that you're doing. Like, what about this thing is fueling you? What about this thing is propelling you forward? And who are you becoming in the process of working through these things? Like, there's breakdown before breakthrough every single time. Good things do not come without hard work. And everything worth having takes work and determination, energy, grit, love, you name it. If you're thinking about it for your own life, what's fueling you? Who are you becoming in the process of working on this thing? Who are you becoming in the process of going through this challenging time or this time where you're feeling burnt out? What is it teaching you about life? What is it teaching you about yourself? How are you growing? How are you learning from it? And also, how can you enjoy this moment of the journey even more? So, is there something about this moment in this burnout that is teaching you something? Like, you can't have that breakthrough without going through the challenges. Like, it'd be a really boring book or a really boring movie if things were going great all the time. Like, you need the downs too. You need the challenges too at the same time. So how can you appreciate them? How can you enjoy them? How can you learn from them and grow from them as well? So that's for me personally, I was thinking about it, but for you also with this like stage of burnout, if you are feeling burnt out, maybe you're not, maybe you're just listening to me chat because you like the sound of my voice and you like hearing all these crazy stories that I bring to the table. And guys, there are so many stories I have not talked about from my travels. Okay. There are so many. And we can get into it for sure. And I will continue to tell the stories for the rest of the time, obviously. But if you're feeling burnt out right now, I would encourage you to think about also why you're doing the things you're doing, who you're becoming in the process, how can you enjoy the journey, what are the goals, and also all the other things that I mentioned as well. Prioritizing rest right in your daily, if you can do an hour or even 10 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, even that's a meditation. How can you schedule in rest? How can you figure out what depletes your energy, what brings you energy? And then everything else I just had to chat about. Yeah. Battle burnout, guys. Burnout's very real in today's culture. I think we're going. We just don't know how to stop and be. For me personally, I'm really, really looking forward to this next chapter. I think the entire year, I kind of pushed burnout for the entire year because I just worked myself to the bone with the travel, with the 9 to 5, with the business, with admin. Those four to-do lists really run my life. So I've kind of been working at these things for a whole year. And I loved who I became. I knew my why, about why I was doing these things. I loved who I became in the process of doing these things. And I had goals that I accomplished and did and still working towards in a lot of ways. If you feel like you're experiencing burnout right now, you're not alone, and I'm sorry. Because it can be a very depleting thing to wake up exhausted, work through your entire day, feel exhausted at the end of the day, and not be able to sleep because you're feeling too tired and you feel absolutely wired and your nervous system is shot. And then you repeat the cycle over and over and over again. I know how difficult that is. But I think with these things, it'll be easier to overcome and to come out on the other side of it. For me, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I think it's making a shift, and I think the shift is happening today, last night, tomorrow for me. And I'm looking forward to this next chapter where I'm incorporating all of these different practices into my day-to-day life. So that moving forward, I can live a way more aligned, energetic life rather than one that's just like constantly feeling depleted, where I'm just wearing myself absolute thin and working myself to the bone. So moving forward. If you guys have any questions about this nomad journey, or if you have any feedback or anything, I just love talking to you guys. Like, there is nothing that brings me more joy than getting DMs from you guys about how much you love the pod and requests and things like that. So please feel free to reach out and chat. I absolutely love it. It makes my whole day. And actually, I'm going to be reaching out to a couple of you to actually have a real chat on or off the pod. We'll see. But I'm really excited for what's coming next. And I'm really so grateful to be in this moment right now and enjoying this moment of the journey right now. And I feel like I'm learning so much about myself and learning so much about my life and this journey. And I couldn't be more grateful, honestly. But I'm ready. I'm ready for the next phase. It's happening and it's here. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know it wasn't like really a story time. It was more kind of chatting through personal development. But if there's something that you're feeling challenged with, or there is a topic you want me to chat about in general, let me know and we'll get to it and we'll get through it together. But in the meantime, we will catch you guys next week on the Visualize Meditations podcast. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Visualize Meditations podcast. Please follow, subscribe, leave a review, all of the good things. If you want to connect more, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Visualize Meditations. So what are you waiting for? Get out there, create the life of your dreams, and we will see you next week.